What's going on, everybody? Sean Pierce Johnson here, bringing you this week's edition of Stompbox Saturday, and on the stomping block today is the brand new Pineapple Boost from Tone Freak Effects. Now, it seems like all the companies out there these days making really great stomp boxes are trying their hand at capturing the mythical, magical Klon Centaur. Well, everybody seems to be going for the straight clone, but Derek at Tone Freak, no, he's gone a completely different direction. Sure, the Klon serves as the inspiration for what this pedal does, but he's thrown in a couple things to make and put his own spin on this. So, let's take a look at it. 4 knobs and 1 toggle switch on the front of the pedal. You have your standard volume, tone, and gain, but with the addition of a clean knob. We'll talk about that feature in just a little bit. And then the toggle switch, which allows you to switch between germanium and silicone diodes. Pretty cool, allowing you 2 different variations on that mythical overdrive sound. So, what makes this so different from the other Klon clones out there? Well, one, I just said, switchable germanium and silicone diodes, really cool. But it's the clean knob. Now, the thing about the Klon, and one of the things that makes the Klon so sought after and so widely used, is that it uses what's called a dual gang pot. Essentially, it controls the level of the overdrive signal and the clean signal at the very same time. Well, Derek has taken that dual gain pot and separated those controls, allowing you to max the gain and get the maximum amount of your clean signal, or lower gain with all of the drive signal coming from the pedal. So there's many different variations that you can get with this pedal, and let's dive in and check out some of those sounds right now. Now, it's said that the legendary sound of the Klon comes from those mythical germanium diodes. Okay, I'll buy that. Germanium does sound pretty good, but that's not where the Pineapple Boost ends. It lets you choose between germanium and silicone to suit your needs. So let's check out the variations between that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run the Pineapple Boost with the volume and tone at 12 o'clock, and I'm going to turn up the gain and the clean knob so that you really hear the effect of the drive portion of this pedal. And I'll play that in front of a clean amp. So let's check that out. First, we're going to check out germanium. And in typical germanium fashion, it cleans up pretty well. So let's switch over to silicone and check out the same idea. So as you can hear, the germanium is just got a little bit more output, it's a little bit more open, the notes tend to bloom a little bit better, at least in my opinion, and the silicone just a little bit more compressed, maybe the sound is a little harsher, it doesn't clean up as well, you still get a little bit of gain artifact in there, but the beauty of it is you can choose whichever sound that you want for whatever the situation calls for. So let's dive in and try to find a setting that will get us that always on thing that everybody loves about the Klon. Now, a popular use for the Centaur and Centaur-style overdrives is an always-on setting. This idea that you find one particular setting that works with your guitar and your amplifier to make your amp sound almost always better. Okay, I can buy that, and Can the Pineapple Boost do that for us? Yeah, it can actually do several different always-on settings really, really nicely. Something that, I'll admit, I have never found in other Centaur-style overdrives. Really cool. So the first one, I'm going to use this as sort of a tone shaping option. I'm not using any of the pedals' color or gain. Well, I'm getting a little bit of coloration. I'm adding in some highs for some extra chime, and that will take my British style amplifier into a more bright American territory. I'll show you what I mean. First, let's hear the amp just without the pedal. Nice, very warm, but it could use a little bit more articulation to help that arpeggio really ring through. That's where the Pineapple Boost comes in. I really like that. You really hear those high notes ring out and they drone really nicely. The little bit of push from the boost side really lends a nice subtle saturation to the overall sound. But that's not the only always-on setting that I like. I also have a favorite for a bluesy, dirty kind of sound. And for that, I like to back off the tone ever so slightly, about 2 o'clock on the dial, and try to keep it in line with the volume. I find that that works really well. And then for me, I like the gain and the clean both to be in and around 12 o'clock on the dial. Now, I personally like it in the germanium, but we'll switch over to the silicone and see how that sounds. So now that we've taken a look at some of the unique features that the Pineapple Boost has to offer, you're probably wondering, well, Sean, if you don't like Klon-style overdrives, how do you find that you like the Pineapple Boost, and what do you get out of it? I can't tell you what it is, but for some reason, of all the Klon clones I've tried, and believe me, I've tried many of them, the Pineapple Boost gives me exactly what I look for in this kind of transparent overdrive category. So this is what I do. I run the volume pretty hot, between 2 and 3 o'clock on the dial, and subtle variations depending upon the room. Then I turn the tone knob just slightly past 12 o'clock for a bit of a brighter, more aggressive sound. Then I take the clean knob and the gain knob, turn them back to 9 o'clock. I don't really want a whole lot of gain out of the pedal. I more just want the pedal's coloration of the tone. And then I like to leave the germanium diode setting on. Find that the germaniums are a little bit more open sounding. The notes bloom a little bit better than the silicones. The silicones are a little bit compressed for my liking and maybe a little too aggressive, but that depends a lot on the amp that you play in front of. So I find that these settings work really well for me. We'll check those out with some riffs, and then we'll take a little bit of a lead. you have it, everybody. There is your look at the Pineapple Boost from Tone Freak Effects, the Klon-style Overdrive that made this guy a believer. And I think a lot of that comes from its expanded controls. Being able to blend in and out that clean signal that the pedal has control over, really cool idea. And the switchable germanium and silicone diodes, we're guitar players. We're constantly chasing that elusive tone. We want options. And I think that these are two features that are very key to its amazing versatility. And, well, sure, the Klon is great, and its clones are, well, about as good as the Klon is. But the one thing that's always bothered me over the years is how every single person that uses a Klon uses it the same way. I don't get it, and I never got it. Play them, and as soon as I plug in, they're turning the knobs to that same way that everybody wants to use them. But I've found in the Pineapple Boost something much more than that one particular use, and I am so excited to have it in my arsenal. But hey, that's just my opinion on it. Let me know what you guys think. Tell me what you think of the Pineapple Boost. Tell me if there's another Klon-style Overdrive that I should take a look at. Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned for next week's episode. And until then, this is Sean Pierce Johnson wishing you good tone and happy stomping. Cheers.
Thank you.